who is one of the greatest players in WNBA history, to the Indiana Fever.
Amber Cox. Amber Cox, the savior from Dallas, has reassured me. She's opened my eyes. She's restored my faith in the Fever front office and head coach Stephanie White, especially in her comments regarding the situation and what's really going on with insert new player or issue here. Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Hope you're having a fantastic day. Shout out to the TFD. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. I really do appreciate it. Let's get rolling. So, Amber Cox actually answered some tough questions about insert new player or issue here. And I think now, everything is going to be really clear for you. You're going to understand what's going on. In no way does this response reinforce any old stereotypes. Haha, that's negated by the glasses anyway. Okay, so let's dig in. Let's take a listen.
So starting with DeWanna, I know there was already a lot of this put out in your press release, but do you kind of detail, I think she talked about how it didn't exactly go how she wanted in that. What exactly that entailed for you guys and her?
Yeah, I mean, obviously DeWanna's a Hall of Famer, future Hall of Famer, one of the best that's ever played our game. We were really excited when she decided to come here in the off season. And you know, as we got into the season, she just expressed that she didn't feel like it was a good fit for her. You know, we talked through that, we had conversations, obviously we made some adjustments to lineup, some of the things we were doing, and we just couldn't get it to a place where, you know, it felt good for her. And, you know, so as we got further along in the process, we explored trade options. And then just, you know, it's pretty early in the season.
I want to address this before we get any deeper, because let's be real, this whole situation with DeWanna Bonner, it doesn't sit right with me. First off, Bonner played what, 9 games? 9. And somehow, that was enough for everyone to hit the panic button and start reworking everything. That's wild in itself. You'd think by the time the season even started, the team and the player had already done their due diligence, had the tough conversations, and worked through any potential chemistry issues. But clearly, that wasn't the case. And here's the kicker. It sounds like problems were popping up before she even really got going. Maybe a game or 2 in. Maybe even before that. So we're talking about major shakeups for someone who never even got fully into rhythm with this squad. Now here's where I loop Caitlin Clark into this. And this is where it gets frustrating. Bonner comes in and says, "This isn't working. I don't like this fit." And guess what? Adjustments are made. Lineups are changed. Roles are reconsidered. Cool. That's fair, if you're going to do that across the board. But remember, Bonner had already said in interviews she knew the offense. Knew it from her time with Stephanie White in Connecticut. Which brings me to the real point. Yes, Stephanie White brought that same stale, clunky Connecticut Sun system over to Indiana. That much is clear, and they were willing to tweak that offense for Bonner. They were going to bend over backwards for a vet nearing the end of her career. But what about Caitlin Clark? You mean to tell me you have Caitlin freaking Clark, a generational player, someone Stephanie White has supposedly been scouting and admiring for years, someone she practically built a playbook around in her imagination before Caitlin even set foot on a WNBA court, and you won't build your offense around her? This is the same Caitlin Clark who's been crystal clear about how she plays best. She wants to play fast. She said that publicly, repeatedly. She thrives in transition. That's when her vision opens up. That's when the game gets fun. That's when you unlock her true potential. But now, no adjustments, no flexibility, no building around your franchise cornerstone. But when Bonner, who, let's be honest, is 37, in her 15th or 16th season, and clearly not the player she once was, says this isn't working, suddenly it's, okay, let's retool everything? That's not just frustrating, it's disrespectful. It shows where the priorities are. You'll accommodate a fading vet, but you won't empower the biggest star women's basketball has seen in years? Make it make sense, Amber.
Given the level of DeWanna's contract, we just couldn't find something suitable. So at the end of the day, we respect her status as a veteran in this league. We had the opportunity to bring Ari back around the timing with the 10-day wait period.
We couldn't. I mean, did you all hear what she said? Now listen, I'm going to go after Amber a little bit here, but I'll also give her some credit because she did try to word that respectfully. I'll give her that. She showed some restraint. But at the same time, let's be real, I don't know that DeWanna Bonner has earned the kind of respect she was demanding with the way she made that statement. So here's the tea. The Fever made some calls. They checked around the league. They said, hey, DeWanna Bonner is available. We're open to moving her. And you know what the response was? Crickets. Not one team. Not one. Thought that was a good idea. Nobody picked up that phone and said, yeah, let's get Bonner. And let's be clear here. This isn't about her legacy. This isn't about what Bonner was back in the day. This is about what she's doing right now. Her current production, her current value. And apparently, that value's in the basement. Because the league looked at her current contract, looked at her current play, and basically said, yeah, we're good. Not even a single team thought she was worth a second or third round pick 2 years from now. You know how rare that is in a league that's always looking for veteran depth? Let that sink in. That's not shade. That's not personal. That's the league giving you the most honest feedback possible without saying it out loud. Because sure, on camera and in interviews, folks will always talk respectfully. They'll praise her career, her leadership, her presence in the locker room. But actions? They speak louder. And when no one in the WNBA is even willing to give up a low pick for you at that price, that tells you everything you need to know. That tells you how teams really see Bonner's value right now. And honestly, it sounds like she severely overestimated what she still brings to the floor. You can wrap it in respectful language all you want, but the message is clear. The league has moved on. And the Fever? They may have been the last ones to realize it.
So we just felt like it was best for all parties to part ways. Wish her nothing but the best. Sorry it didn't work out, but we move on, and we're excited about the team that we have on the court, and yeah.
So this whole thing with Ari McDonald? Yeah, that's where it gets really interesting to me. Because I'm sitting here wondering, would DeWanna Bonner still be out for personal reasons if Ari McDonald hadn't suddenly entered the picture? Would that same storyline be floating around, with everyone sending thoughts and prayers, if the front office didn't need to clear space for Ari? Feels like that move might have forced the Fever's hand. Because here's what it looks like. Bonner steps away, reportedly for personal reasons. Then suddenly, Indiana is trying to bring in Ari McDonald. But if I understand the cap and roster dynamics right, they couldn't just sign Ari outright at that point, not without impacting the salary cap. Maybe if they waited longer, prorating would have helped. But in that exact moment, nope. They needed to make room, and they needed to do it fast. So that raises the real question. Was Bonner's sudden exit less about family emergencies and more about frustration? About not being in the starting five, not being featured in the offense, not being the focal point anymore? And here's where I take serious issue. It's how the Fever front office handled it. Because this was sloppy, unprofessional. You don't let a player basically ghost the team while letting the public believe it's about something tragic or deeply personal. Meanwhile, she's just unhappy about her role. That's not okay. Here's what should have happened. If Bonner comes to you and says, this isn't working, I want out, you sit down with her and say, okay, that's fine. But we need you to keep being the professional you've always been. Keep practicing. Stay engaged. Keep playing. And behind the scenes, we'll work on a trade. That way, you maintain leverage. You protect the team. You protect the locker room culture. And if she says no, if she says she's done, then you say, okay, but we're not going to play this game. You're stepping away, not for personal reasons, but because of dissatisfaction. And in that case, you're not getting paid. Isn't that exactly what happened with Christy Wallace? She stepped away, and that freed up cap space. Same scenario, only it was handled with clarity. This whole thing with Bonner, just poorly managed. It turned into a cover-up, and it damaged trust with fans, with media, and maybe even inside the locker room. And now the team has Ari McDonald back, which is great, but the mess they created around it, That's going to leave a stain for a while.
The decision to have her not be with you guys was listed as personal reasons. Was that a team decision or was that a Bonner thing? Both? How exactly would you
Yeah, I think
characterize
as we
that?
were going through the process, it just felt better for her to step away, you know. Again, as we were sorting through what it was going to look like, you know, if it could be a return, exploring a trade, you know, again, it wasn't a decision that any of us made lightly. So it was a lot of conversations, and again, as we got into that process of exploring a trade, and we knew it likely was not going to be something that was going to last the duration of the season, we gave her that opportunity to step away.
Just what did you like about Ari, obviously, or Ari in those 3 games she was on a hardship contract, and why did you want to bring her back?
I mean, the energy, you know, the energy, obviously what she brings on the defensive end. I think her first game with us, she had 2, maybe 3 charges, took 2 or 3 charges there. So just brings great pace in what she's able to do offensively. Love the fact that when we brought her in for the hardship, the time that she spent preparing for that first game with us, you know, looking at film with the coaching staff. And then again, you have a player who expresses the desire to be here. You know, we had to release her post-hardship or after the hardship. You know, she had other opportunities, I'm sure, to go other places, but really wanted to be back here. So it felt like a really good fit for her, for us as well. So we're excited to bring her back into the mix, get her more integrated. Obviously, it was a short window, just 3 games there. So now to have her for the rest of the season, we're excited to see what she can do. And again, she just brings great energy on both ends of the floor for us.
And you've had a roster spot available, and then now you have the cap space to potentially sign someone. Are you aiming to sign a 12th player sometime soon?
Yeah, we'll do that. You know, obviously this has all come together pretty quickly. We want to do our due diligence and make sure we're doing all that we can to add the right person, the right player, what we need. I mean, we've got some interesting dynamics going on right now with Ari just coming in, with Demiris leaving for a few games. So, you know, we'll take our time, but know that that's an opportunity, and we will add a 12th player at some point.
With all the distractions, do you think the players can focus and move forward?
Oh, 100%. We're focused on the people who are on the court every single night. Obviously, to go and pick up that big win in Seattle gave us a lot of momentum. And you can see, again, with Ari coming in, the last time she fit in really seamlessly into what we do. So we're excited. We're excited about the roster that we have. We're excited about Aaliyah Boston's playing incredible right now, Kelsey Mitchell. So there's a lot of things to be excited about as we continue through the season. We've had some adversity here, but I believe strength is built through that. The team is becoming more and more galvanized as we've gone through some of these early tests with injuries and various things we face. So excited to face LA tonight and go to Dallas tomorrow.
You mentioned exploring trades with Bonner a little bit, to the extent that you can get into that. I know W trades are so hard mid-season. Was it just that hurdle of cap hurdles in the way? Why do you feel like it was impossible for them to actually materialize?
I think it was early, right? It's early in the season. We were talking 9-10 games in. And so again, a player at the level of DeWanna's stature and her contract usually requires an equal trade. That's very difficult, especially, it's difficult anytime, but really difficult early in the season. So again, we just felt like based on where we were, and again, the opportunity to bring Ari back, and again, just wanting to respect DeWanna's veteran status, we thought parting ways and waiving her was the best way to go.
Here's the thing, and I know some people are going to say, oh, that sounds harsh. But listen closely, this is professional sports. It's not middle school basketball. It's not a therapy session. It's not about feelings. It's about managing a franchise, building a team, and doing it with integrity and transparency. DeWanna Bonner feeling good about stepping away and calling it personal reasons, that's irrelevant. That does nothing for the Fever as a team, as an organization, or for the fans who ride or die with them every game. This isn't about Bonner. This is about the Indiana Fever. That's where the front office's focus should have been. That's who they should have protected. Instead, they caved. They handed her too much money. That's on them. And then allowed her to dictate terms like she was still a top-tier starter when she clearly wasn't. And on top of that, they kept the fans in the dark. That's the part that really stings. You didn't just mismanage the situation. You lied by omission. You let the narrative spin out with people thinking something tragic had happened, when in reality, she was pouting, upset about her role, maybe the minutes, maybe not starting. When that happens, you don't cover for her. You don't throw a blanket over it and hope it goes away. You sit her down and say, all right, we'll look to move you. But here's the deal. You keep coming to work. You show up. You play hard. You earn your value back so we can find a team willing to take you. But what happened? The Fever protected the wrong person. And now we all know, no team in the league wanted Bonner on that contract. Not one. That tells you all you need to know about her market value. The front office failed this one. Full stop. They let the situation spiral. They didn't communicate. And they damaged trust. And I'll be honest, this doesn't exactly boost my confidence in their long-term vision either. Fans aren't stupid. They're watching. They're tired of the soft handling, the overpaid veterans, and the zero accountability. And honestly, I'd be mad too. Furious. Because this isn't just about one player. This is about setting the tone for the entire franchise. And right now, the tone is all wrong. Fans know everything. Let's just say it how it is. Her lips are moving, and none of us believe a word. The front office blew the DeWanna Bonner signing, and now, that now you know is coming back to haunt them big time as more and more of this mess keeps unfolding. And Chloe? Honestly, I'd rather know exactly when Caitlin Clark first started feeling pain in her groin than be lied to for weeks straight. That's how ridiculous this has gotten. Because let's call it what it is, they lied to the fans. Straight up. Weeks of personal reasons, garbage, and the entire time, it was internal drama, dissatisfaction, and bad decision-making. You had fans sending prayers, buying merch, staying loyal. And this is how you return the favor? You lied. To the people keeping your lights on. And here's where it gets even worse. You covered for Bonner. You paid Bonner to not work. You ran PR cover for her while she threw a tantrum about not being the focal point anymore. And then you trotted out Amber COX like she was supposed to calm the storm. But COX running interference doesn't help when everyone already knows what's up. And yeah, let's not pretend we didn't see it. The four musketeers, Steph, Amber, Kelly, and Bonner, all in on it together. Lying to the fans, lying to the media, and wasting money on a player who walked out. This isn't just mismanagement. At this point, it's flirting with money washing. It's a scam. Professional? Not even close. Was Bonner a problem from the start? Probably. But let's not let the front office off the hook either. This whole thing, this season, it's on them. It was never about building a team around Caitlin Clark. That was the lie they sold us. It was about patching up egos and clinging to outdated loyalty. And that PC line they keep giving about Bonner stepping away with grace and mutual understanding. Nah, she abandoned the team, and they still covered for her. So yeah, as you can tell, fans are fed up. We see through the spin, and everything this front office touches right now feels like it's poisoned. Honestly, it's starting to feel a little more like Philly, and I mean that in the best way. We're finally holding people accountable. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know how you feel. Because if you're like me, you're not angry anymore. You're just done with the BS. Thanks for checking out the video. Let's keep the pressure on.